Hello, I'm back. This is Miss Silver Plata, and I am here to continue helping you with Module 2. This time, we are going to look at Lesson 2. Now, make sure that you have your packet for Module 2 so that you can follow along with me. All right. In Module 2, Lesson 2, we are going to interpret division of a whole number by a fraction. Let me say that again. We are going to interpret division of a whole number by a fraction. And of course, we are going to use models. All right. Now, if we are in a regular classroom, you are going to be divided into groups to perform the task in example 1. Okay. So, you are going to be asked to write a division question, a multiplication question, and you are going to model to represent the question. So what am I talking about in lesson 2? Here, we are going to complete a chart, okay, or a table. As you can see on the screen, okay, this is the table. The first column is the original question. On the second column, that is where you are going to write your division expression. Third column, this is where you will write the multiplication expression, and then you are going to write the equivalence of the two expressions, okay? Or are they the same? All right, so let's begin with the first one. The original question states, how many half miles are in 12 miles? So if that is a division expression, I am actually dividing 12 miles divided by 1/2. Because the question says, how many half miles are in 12? So your whole thing is 12. Your dividend is 12, and your divisor is 1/2. Now, if that is a multiplication expression, all right, that would mean 12 times 2, okay? Here it says, write the equation showing the equivalence of the two expressions. So we are going to put them together, okay? So 12 divided by 1/2 is the same as or equal to 12 times 2, which is true because 12 divided by 1/2 is 24, yes? And what is 12 times 2? Also 24. So the expressions are equivalent, so you put them together as an equation. Now let's go to number 2. It says, how many quarter hours are in 5 hours? Okay, so if you have 5 hours, or let's say if you have 1 hour, it's asking you how many quarter hours are in there, okay, in an hour. But here, we have 5 hours. How many quarter hours are in there? So 5 divided by 1/4. As a multiplication expression, it simply means 5 times 4. So the equivalence of the two expressions, 5 divided by 1/4 is the same as or equal to 5 times 4. Now to prove that, 5 times 1/4 is what? Yes, you're right, 20. And 5 times 4, it's 20. So they are equivalent. And then that is what you are asked to do. If you are in the classroom, you are grouped in, small groups, and then you are to complete this with your group mates. So what you can do, you can pause this video if you want to, and then complete the table, or you can do that and go back to that table or chart and complete that later on. Okay, so to continue, let's look at example 2. Let's take a look at a different example. Here it says, Molly has 9 cups. If this is 3/4 of the amount she needs to make bread, how many cups does she need? Okay, so I want you to pay attention to how the problem is being set up here. Okay, Molly has 9 cups. And this 9 cups is 3/4 of the amount she needs. Okay, so that tells you that she doesn't have everything she needs yet, because that 9 cups is just a part of. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so let's follow this. It says, construct the tape diagram by reading it backward. Draw a tape diagram and label the unknown. Okay, so let's try that. Use this down here. Okay, it says read it backwards. Okay. Here's the tape diagram. Label the unknown. So the unknown is this whole thing. Okay, because we don't know we don't know the whole thing. So we're following that. Then what does it say? Shade in 3/4. Okay. So here's my tape diagram. I am going to show 3/4. Okay. Shade it in. 1, 2, 3/4. Okay. That's done. Then label the shaded region to show that 9 is equal to 3/4, because that's what it says here. Molly has 9 cups. This is 3/4 of the amount of what she needs to make bread. So let's label that this 3/4 is actually 9. Okay. Then what does it say? Analyze the model to determine the quotient. Okay, so let's try that. 1, 2, 3 units represents 9. Okay, I want to know how much 1 unit is. So what do I do? 9 divided by 3 units will give me 3. So in other words, each of these units is 3. So let me label that. This is 3, this is 3, this is 3, and this is 3. Right? Now the question is, how many cups does she need? So remember the first one we did? Put a question mark on the unknown. The unknown is this whole thing. And this whole thing is 4 units. So since we already know how much each unit is, that is 3, and I have 4 units, so 3 times 4, 4 units is 12. So what does that mean? Molly needs 12 cups of flour to make bread. So in this problem, we are actually looking for the whole thing. Okay. All right, so that's a little different from the table that we just created. So let's continue. This time with exercises. I'm going to work with you with some of them, help you. Okay. Beginning with number 1. Let's read. A construction company is setting up signs on 2 miles of road. If the company places a sign every 1/4 mile, how many signs will it use? Okay, so I want you to pay attention to the question. Okay, make sure you understand. I always tell this to my students, okay? If you want to help your friend with their problems, but you do not know and understand what their problem is, can you help them? Of course not, okay? So it's just like solving word problems in mathematics. We cannot solve it if we do not understand what it's asking us, okay? So let's try again. A construction company is setting up signs on 2 miles of road. If the company places a sign every 1/4 mile, how many signs will it use? Okay, so let's use a model here. So 2 miles represents the whole thing. What do they want to do? They're going to put the sign every 1/4 mile, okay? So the first mile, you count 1/4 there. There's your first sign, your second sign, your third sign, your fourth sign, okay? But you got 2 miles, so every 1/4, okay? So you count. Here's your first sign. From here to here, they put their first sign, and then another 1/4, there, another sign, another sign, another sign here, every 1/4 mile up to 2 miles. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 signs. Okay. So what does that mean? Let's write an expression there. There are 2 miles divided by 1/4. Okay. So if you are to count the fourths in 2 miles, how many fourths do you see there? Okay. So 2 miles has 8 fourths. Let me write that using a unit form. 8 fourths divided by 1/4 equals 8. There you go. 8 signs. The company will use 8 signs. All right. Now, number 2, okay, I would like you to work on that on your own. It says, George bought 4 submarine sandwiches for a birthday party. If each person will eat 2/3 of a sandwich, how many people can George feed? Okay, so read it over again so that you will really grasp what the problem is all about, what it's asking you, what information you need. Okay, you can pause this video and come back with your answer, or you can do that later on. Okay, so did you try it? Did you use a model to find the answer? Okay, and what is your answer? In this problem, it's actually asking you how many 2/3 in 4. Just like here, how many 1/4 in 2. So what was your answer? Very good. George can feed 6 people. All right? Okay. Now, let's do number 3 together. Miranda buys 6 pounds of nuts. If she puts 3/4 pound in each bag, how many bags can she make? That looks pretty simple. Okay. So what is the division expression that go with this situation? So she's got 6 pounds. Okay. And she wants to put 3 pound in each bag. So we are going to divide 6 by 3/4. And then the question is, how many bags can she make? Okay, so you got 6 pounds, get a bag, put 3/4 there, get another bag, put 3/4 there, and so on and so forth. So it's asking you how many bags, okay, will you have in the end. So let's use a model to show, okay, and prove the answer. So I'm going to start with 6 pounds. Let me label this. This is 6 pounds of nuts. Here's 3 over here and 3 on the other side. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So what did it say? 3/4 in each bag. So each of this is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So you do that in all the parts. All the 6 pounds there has fourths. And then what do we do? If we have this 6 pounds, I am going to get 3 here out of 4. And that would be 3/4 goes in a bag. So I'm going to get 3 parts again. That's another 3/4 there, goes inside the bag. And we just keep on going, getting 3 parts each time because we only need 3/4 pound in each bag. All right. And exactly 3 here. So how many 3/4 are in 6? So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. So Miranda, is that her name? Miranda, let me write that down, can make 8 bags. All right. So there are more problems in this exercise. As you got problem number 4 and problem number 5. You can do problem number 4 on your own. It's pretty much the same as problem number 3. That's why I did number 3 for you. Okay, on number 4, it says Margot freezes 8 cups of strawberries. If this is 2/3 of the total strawberries that she picked, how many cups of strawberries did Margot pick? Okay, so you can pause this video and go and work on the problem. Don't forget to use a model so that you can really see what's going on. Okay, otherwise you can continue watching and just go back and do the work later on. Okay, now on number 5, that's the one I want us to work together because this is a little different. Okay, it says Regina is chopping up wood. She has chopped 10 logs so far. If the 10 logs represent 5/8 of all the logs that need to be chopped, how many logs need to be chopped in all? Okay, so you can read that over, look at the information. What are the given information that we will need to answer the problem? So beginning with the division expression. She has chopped 10 logs so far. That 10 logs represent 5/8. Okay? So this is the same as saying 10 is 5/8 group of what size? So beginning with a model instead of writing down the division expression. Okay, let's start with the model. This 10 logs, according to the problem, represents 5/8 of all the logs that need to be chopped. Okay, so let us start with 5/8. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so 8 parts. So it says 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 represents what? 10 logs. What are we being asked? It says how many logs need to be chopped in all. So remember that first example we did when we read the problem backwards? Okay, what is the unknown? We want to know the whole thing. Okay, that 5/8 represents the 10 logs. Okay, so how do we know the whole thing? How many parts are there? Okay, what do we know? There are 8 parts, but what we know is that 5 parts or 5 units represents 10. If that is the case, I want to know how much is 1 unit. So if 5 units is 10, 10 divided by 5 gives me 2. What does that mean? 1 unit represents 2. So I want to go back here so that I will not forget. This is 2, this is 2, 2, 2, and 2, which makes sense because if I add them together, remember we said this 5/8 represents 10 logs. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 10 logs. Okay. Now the rest of the tape diagram, even if it's not shaded, this will also represent 2 and 2 and 2. Okay, so each unit is 2. Now, what is the question? The question is, how many logs need to be chopped in all? So the whole thing is, you see that question mark, is what we are looking for. So if there are 8 parts or 8 units, and we know that each unit is 2, all I need to do is multiply 2 times 8, which is 16. So what does that mean? Regina will chop 16 logs. Okay, writing down our division expression, 10 divided by 8 equals 16. All right, so in closing, what are the key ideas that you learned from lessons 1 and this lesson? Okay, we can use models to divide a whole number by fraction and a fraction by a whole number. It's actually really easier to understand what's going on with our fraction with the help of the tape diagram that we have been using. All right, so what I want you to do, your packet comes with problem set, so you do that for more practice. You can also look for the exit ticket for lesson 2 and do that as well, to show what you learned for lesson 2. All right, so that's for lesson 2. I'll see you next time. Stay safe. This is Miss Plata. Bye.